What's your favorite story you've read on Reddit? This one, I've been sitting here for hours trying to find a fitting start to what is ultimately no point in writing. The only one I'll ever tell is the psychiatrist I have an appointment with next week, and you. I have memories of a life I haven't lived, or am living. It's not a past life, or being another person. It's me, Simon, with my same family, same dad and mom, and all my brothers. But yet everything is different. Growing up I thought they were dreams that I just remembered very well. When the subject about dreams came up, and how it's hard to remember them all, I used to tell that I remember almost everything I dreamed about. My perception about what I remembered being dreams changed in my late teens, and I never talked about them again to anyone. I used to row, and it was in my local rowing club I met Claire. She was lovely in every way and I ended up having a crush for her. She, however, liked my best friend as well. Before I was made aware of this, we dated for a few weeks, but when a friend of hers told me about it, I confronted her, and she told me it was true. I was heartbroken, and we decided to break it off. She started dating my friend, and I moved on. Shortly after I met Elizabeth, who is now my current wife. But before me and Elizabeth got serious, Claire and my friend had broken up, and she reached out to me and asked me for a second chance. I told her no. But I also remember saying yes. I remember our dates. I remember the day I asked her to be my girlfriend and make it official. I remember borrowing the clubhouse connected to our rowing club and covering it with candles and her walking in. I remember telling her that I love her and that I wanted her to be my girl. I was 18 and she was 17. These memories or dreams ran parallel as I was dating Elizabeth, and I used to feel horribly guilty about dreaming about Claire. I changed rowing club and started avoiding places I knew I'd meet Claire, but nothing helped. I was in love with Elizabeth and Claire and experienced dating both of them. I thought I was going crazy. This is the point where my perception started to change. Elizabeth and I were an official couple, and we had been going steady for over a year. We were happy. I was coping with my feeling and dreams memories with Claire. I was probably crazy, creepy, and repressed it all, and hadn't seen her in months. In all honesty, should barely know her at this point, but yet I knew everything about her. Her childhood stories, her house, siblings, parents, their cabin 2 hours from town, where I lost my virginity to her, and yet didn't. The cabin with its stupid toilet door which never locks properly, and caused her mother walking in when I was wanking. I still feel embarrassed by this. Yet the memory is off. It hasn't happened. Everything changed December 2001. I hadn't been sleeping properly for a long time, but December was the worst. I thought I dreamt the memories, and it had made me fearful of sleep. I had been working overtime every day of the week for 2 weeks. I was Thursday, and after 4 hours of overtime, I was beat. I drove home. Got the keys from the garage, where we hid it under the paint box. Went inside, and straight to bed. I woke up with Claire's dad standing over me. He had found me in Claire's bed after the coming home, and discovering the keys were missing, and the door unlocked. Horror, disbelief, confusion. This is Claire's dad. I know him, and I have never met him. I just rambled. I can't remember saying anything coherent. I eventually told him I went into the wrong house. He asked me how I found the keys. What could I tell him? I had no reasonable explanation. I had never been to Claire's house, yet I knew where they hid the keys, and every damn room in the house. I basically lived there. I told him I didn't know. He didn't ask me any questions after that, just that the police were on their way, and to sit tight. I kept quiet until they arrived. When the police came, he told them I was probably drunk. I guess he thought so, because of my rambling and confused state. The police took me to the station for a statement. I lied and told them I had been drinking. I knew the blood results would be negative, but I didn't care. I just wanted to go home. After a few hours they let me go, and I went home. I didn't tell anyone about this. A few weeks later I received a letter stating that the blood results were negative and that they wanted me to go back to the station for a new interview. But before the date arrived I received another letter saying that they would be dropping the charges. Claire's dad was not pressing. After this episode, one went to the doctors for sleeping pills. I never let myself get the tired again. I never drank alcohol after that day either, or do anything that could cause me to lose focus as to where or who I am. The different memories follow me throughout each day. And every day there are new memories, glimpses. Most of the different memories are so different, or feel so different, that I can distinguish between them and my own. But sometimes I meet fiends that don't know me, or know my way around places I shouldn't really know. These memories are much harder to distinguish, almost impossible. I'll stop here. I have written so much now, and now that I'm at the point of why I'm writing this, I see no point in writing it. It's soon 1 a.m. here. I'm afraid my wife or kids will wake up and ask me why I'm crying. I thought I could cope with the memories. I cope with Claire being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, the cancer spreading to her liver. I cope with Claire dying, being at her funeral, and carrying her casket, being told she was dead, and not being at her funeral, not visiting her grave yet remember visiting her grave. I have 2 daughters with Elizabeth, Anna and Jane. And I have Elise. I had Elise with Claire. Elise has my eyes. I remember her being born shortly after my first daughter, and it changed everything. With my daughters came the sensation of what real, unconditional, and bottomless love was. I can't cope with it anymore. I have lost a daughter. All I have are memories. I will never ever experience the first-hand sensation of hugging, kissing, just holding her. And every day I have new memories of her, making me love her and miss her more and more. I skip work just to sit outside the apartment we live in. I know the apartment inside and out, where she learned to walk, where she learned to go to the potty all alone, and how we went straight to Mama's grave to tell her about it. I know it will ruin my life, and there's nothing I can do. I'm in complete and utter conflict. I hope it's a mental condition, but at the same time I'm afraid of taking pills that will cause me to lose Elise completely. There is no help, and it will ruin me. Had to find a comment with the original story, because apparently the original post was deleted. It intrigues and frightens me to no end.